Welcome to my channel, where we share inspiring stories of people learning English from scratch. In today's episode, you'll follow the incredible journey of Andrew, a recent graduate who failed countless job interviews because of his poor English. But within just 1 year of consistent effort, Andrew transformed himself and mastered the global language. If you're struggling with English, if you think you're not talented enough, or it's too late to start, this story is for you. Let's dive in. Andrew was born and raised in a peaceful little town called Meadowville, a place where everyone knew each other. And life moved slowly and quietly. His family was middle class, with both of his parents working as elementary school teachers. They always encouraged Andrew to study hard so he could have a better future. As their only child, Andrew carried all their hopes of escaping the quiet loop of small-town life and reaching out to the larger world. After graduating from high school with fairly good grades, Andrew was accepted into Central Valley University, a reputable school in a large city about 5 hours away from home. It was his first time living far from his family, and college life introduced him to a whole new world: freedom, opportunities, and plenty of challenges. Like many students, Andrew quickly got swept up in the lively college lifestyle. He spent more time joining extracurricular activities, playing sports, hanging out with friends, and exploring the city than he did focusing on his studies, especially when it came to English, a required subject but not part of his technical major. Andrew never took it seriously. He studied just enough to pass the exams, and never invested real time in practicing listening, speaking, or writing in English. He believed that as long as he had a university degree, job opportunities would naturally come to him. English isn't that important for my field, Andrew used to think. As long as I'm good at my major, I'll be fine. But he was wrong. Graduating from university with joy and pride, Andrew carried high hopes for a bright future. With a degree in information technology from Central Valley University, he felt confident he would soon land a stable, well-paying job at a top company in the city. During the first week after graduation, he began sending out resumes to dozens of tech firms, ranging from dynamic startups to established corporations. His profile looked decent, above average grades, some solid group projects, and part-time experience working at the university's IT office. His first interview was scheduled for a Monday morning. Dressed in a brand new suit, holding a neatly printed CV, Andrew walked into the modern office building with a pounding heart. Filled with nervous excitement, he believed it would go smoothly. But the very first question from the interviewer, asked in English, stopped him cold. "Can you introduce yourself briefly in English?" Andrew forced a smile. An awkward silence filled the room. My name is Andrew. I am graduate from Central University, he stammered, his voice trailing off, every word feeling stuck in his throat. The interviewer nodded politely and moved on to the next question. But Andrew knew that moment had left a poor impression. He walked out with a faint smile but a heavy heart. A week later, he received the rejection email. And that was just the beginning. In the second week, he attended another interview, this time at a friendly startup. But when the conversation turned to the company's product, He couldn't grasp most of the English technical terms the interviewer used. He nodded as if he understood, but his answers ended up sounding incoherent. Another rejection followed. In week 3, and then 4, the number of failed interviews kept rising. Some interviews didn't even go halfway because of the requirement to explain your solution in English. Andrew felt as though every door was closing, no matter how hard he tried to prepare everything carefully. One evening, sitting alone at a familiar coffee shop near his old dorm, Andrew stared at yet another rejection email on his phone. He sighed, eyes gazing out at the busy streets, feeling oddly quiet inside. Why is this so hard? He asked himself. And then, in that quiet moment, Andrew realized something he had long ignored. English wasn't just a subject in school. It was a key, a bridge to opportunities, a vital skill he had overlooked for too long. For the first time, Andrew truly wanted to learn English. Not to pass a test, not for a grade, but to stop feeling lost in job interviews. To express his ideas clearly. To open the doors that had been closing on him because of his own neglect. That realization marked a turning point, and it was also the beginning of a tough, yet inspiring journey that Andrew was about to embark on. On the very first day of his plan, Andrew searched English listening for beginners on YouTube. The first video he chose was a short animated story called The Very Hungry Caterpillar, a classic children's tale with slow narration and vivid visuals. At first, Andrew understood very little, but he persisted. He downloaded the BBC Learning English app and chose the English at the Movies series, where each video explains a common English phrase used in films. He watched the clip about break a leg multiple times until he finally understood the idiomatic meaning. Every morning, while brushing his teeth, he listened to short episodes from the English We Speak podcast. He let it play 3 times in a row, trying to guess meanings through tone and context. Andrew realized, listening isn't about understanding everything right away. It's about getting used to the sounds, just like a baby listening to their mother's lullabies. Understanding comes later. Andrew visited the city library. In the children's section, he picked up a colorful picture book called Frog and Toad Are Friends. The book was filled with fun illustrations and had only a few simple sentences on each page. He also borrowed books from the Oxford Reading Tree, Stages 1 to 3 series, which are perfect for beginners. Every night before bed, Andrew read 2 to 3 pages, underlining new words, looking them up, and making notes in the margins. He also downloaded an app called Bilingue, which offers bilingual stories. When reading The Little Mermaid, he followed the English text at the top and used the Vietnamese text below to understand the story. Andrew discovered simple reading helped him stop being afraid of English. He began to pick up sentence structures, grammar patterns, and even enjoyed short stories. Andrew visited the city library. In the children's section, he picked up a colorful picture book called Frog and Toad Are Friends. The book is filled with fun illustrations and has only a few simple sentences on each page. He also borrowed books from the Oxford Reading Tree, Stages 1 to 3 series, which are perfect for beginners. Every night before bed, Andrew reads 2 to 3 pages, underlining new words, looking them up, and making notes in the margins. He also downloaded an app called Bilingue, which offers bilingual stories. While reading The Little Mermaid, he follows the English text at the top and uses the local dialect below to understand the story. Andrew discovered simple reading helped him stop fearing English. He started absorbing sentence structures, grammar patterns, and even enjoyed the small stories. At first, Andrew was embarrassed to speak. He feared mispronunciations and awkward tone. But he knew, if he didn't speak, he'd never gain confidence. He began with short, daily phrases like, "Good morning, Andrew. How are you today? I feel great. Let's start the day." Every morning, he stood in front of the mirror, talking to himself in English. To make it more fun, he played short animation clips on YouTube, paused after each sentence, and repeated it aloud, mimicking the characters like voice dubbing. One day, he watched Peppa Pig at the park. When Peppa said, "Let's play on the swing," Andrew jumped up, pointed at his chair, and repeated, "Let's play on the swing." He laughed at himself, never thought learning English could be this fun. Andrew realized, talking to yourself doesn't make you crazy, it makes you courageous. At first, Andrew was embarrassed to speak. He feared mispronunciations and awkward tone. But he knew, if he didn't speak, he'd never gain confidence. He began with short, daily phrases like, "Good morning, Andrew. How are you today? I feel great. Let's start the day." Every morning, he stood in front of the mirror, talking to himself in English. To make it more fun, he played short animation clips on YouTube, paused after each sentence, and repeated it aloud, mimicking the characters like voice dubbing. One day, he watched Peppa Pig at the park. When Peppa said, "Let's play on the swing," Andrew jumped up, pointed at his chair, and repeated, "Let's play on the swing." He laughed at himself, never thought learning English could be this fun. Andrew realized, talking to yourself doesn't make you crazy, it makes you courageous. Andrew installed the Oxford Learner's Dictionary app. Whenever he encountered a new word, whether from stories, podcasts, or YouTube, he immediately looked it up. When he heard the word confused in a cartoon dialogue, he not only checked the meaning but also listened to its US pronunciation, then repeated it several times. He also read example sentences, like, "I was confused about the directions." Then he wrote in his notebook, "I felt confused when I heard fast English." Each new word was reviewed this way, spoken aloud, written down, and used in context. One word, but 3 skills: reading, listening, and writing. Andrew understood. Dictionaries aren't boring. They're doorways to a new world hidden inside each word. After just 2 months of following these simple habits, Andrew no longer saw English as a scary mountain. He was no longer studying just to pass an interview. He was learning to live a new life, watching movies without subtitles, writing diaries in another language, and confidently expressing himself. He wasn't fluent yet, but he had truly become a real English learner. 2 months had passed since Andrew began taking his English learning journey seriously. Every morning he listened to podcasts. Every evening he read comic books, wrote in his journal, spoke to himself, and looked up every new word in the dictionary. Gradually, he noticed he could understand simple sentences, guess meaning from context, and memorize new words faster. This gave him motivation to level up his challenges. Andrew found an online English speaking class with a native teacher. On the first day, he was nervous. There were about 6 other learners from around the world: Thailand, Brazil, Japan. The American teacher said, "Tell us your name and why you want to learn English." Andrew tried to answer. "My name, Andrew. I want to learn English because job, improve." He noticed others spoke more fluently than he did. He felt insecure and left out. During the class, he could only say a few short sentences. After the class, he thought about quitting. But that night, he replayed the class recording and listened again and again. He took notes on new phrases, practiced answering the questions he had struggled with. Andrew learned an important lesson. I'm not bad. I'm just starting. Everyone has a different starting point. One day, Andrew joined an English-speaking group on the HelloTalk app. He made a friend from the Philippines named Sam. They arranged a video call. Before the call, Andrew wrote down, "How are you? What do you do? Do you like music?" The conversation lasted only 7 minutes. But his hands trembled, and he was sweating. Sometimes he got stuck, and Sam had to wait. But eventually, they both laughed a lot. And Sam said, "Your English is good. Don't worry." For the first time, Andrew felt, "I actually communicated in English." Encouraged, Andrew decided to rewatch his favorite animated movie, Finding Nemo, this time without subtitles. After 10 minutes, he was confused. Why are they speaking so fast? What does that phrase mean? Why so much slang? He kept pausing and eventually gave up. The frustration came back, but this time, he didn't quit. He rewatched the movie with English subtitles, took notes of new words and expressions, and then tried again without subtitles. I don't need to understand everything. Just a little more than yesterday is enough. From small failures, Andrew learned. It's normal to not understand. It's normal to be slow. It's normal to mispronounce. What matters is, don't give up. Each week, he picked a topic. Week 1. Food and cooking. Week 2. Daily routine. Week 3. Feelings and emotions. He practiced listening, speaking, reading, and writing around those themes. Gradually, English became a natural part of his life, not something to fear. 1 month later, Andrew joined the same online class with his old teacher. This time, when asked, "Why are you learning English?" Andrew smiled and confidently answered, "I want to improve my English because I want to work in an international company. English gives me more opportunities." The teacher nodded. "Great job, Andrew. You've improved a lot." Andrew felt proud. For the first time in a long while, he truly felt confident. Andrew started to see the first results of his English learning journey. He was no longer studying to survive. He was learning because he genuinely wanted to grow. But he also understood, this was just the beginning. There were still mountains to climb. And he was ready. Time flew by. It had been nearly a year since Andrew seriously committed to learning English. Now, English was no longer a fear, but a natural part of his daily life. From someone who once trembled at the sound of native speakers, Andrew could now communicate fluently with international friends, write professional emails, join global discussions, and most importantly, confidently seize career opportunities. Andrew applied for a tech company with American investment. When he was invited to an interview, he felt nervous, but this time, it wasn't fear, it was excitement to showcase his growth. The interviewer asked, "Can you introduce yourself in English?" Andrew smiled and responded fluently, without needing a script. "Sure. My name is Andrew. I graduated from Central Valley University. Over the past year, I've been focusing on improving my English skills, and I'm now confident in using English in a professional environment. I'm excited about this opportunity because I believe my skills and growth mindset will bring value to your company." After the interview, the HR manager said, "We really appreciate your effort and attitude. Welcome on board." Andrew got the job, and for the first time, he truly felt the value of his daily English practice. In his new role, Andrew worked with partners from Singapore and the US at first. He didn't fully understand some technical terms, but instead of feeling embarrassed, he asked questions, took notes, and studied after work. He used tools like Grammarly to correct email grammar, DeepL and Google Translate to double-check expressions, Youglish to learn proper pronunciation, Quizlet to create custom vocabulary decks. Week by week, his vocabulary and professional communication improved steadily. One day, Andrew was invited to speak at a seminar for final-year students at his old university. The topic: How to Start Learning English from Zero. In front of hundreds of students, Andrew shared his early struggles, the times he almost gave up, and how he overcame everything with daily consistency. He said, "Don't wait for motivation to start. Take action first, and motivation will follow. I'm not smarter than any of you. I just stayed a little more consistent each day." His talk went viral on social media, and many young people messaged him, thanking him for giving them hope and a clear direction. Now, Andrew didn't just use English for work. He read original English books like Atomic Habits and The Power of Now. Listen to global podcasts like The Diary of a CEO and TED Talks daily. Wrote his own blog in English. Traveled to Thailand and Singapore, and could converse naturally with locals. He realized something powerful. Knowing English isn't just a skill, it's a gateway to the world. Now, Andrew didn't just use English for work. He read original English books like Atomic Habits and The Power of Now. Listen to global podcasts like The Diary of a CEO and TED Talks daily. Wrote his own blog in English. Traveled to Thailand and Singapore, and could converse naturally with locals. He realized something powerful. Knowing English isn't just a skill, it's a gateway to the world. Andrew went from zero to mastering English. But here's the key: anyone can do what he did. You just have to start with small steps. Listen every day. Read simple books. Talk to yourself in English. Write a few lines in a journal. Treat the dictionary as your best friend. And above all, don't give up. Thank you so much for watching Andrew's journey all the way to the end. We hope his story has inspired you to keep going with your English learning, no matter where you are in your journey. Remember, it's never too late to start. Don't forget to like, subscribe, And turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next inspiring videos. See you again in our upcoming episodes, where real stories light up your learning path.